In 2021, the streets of Mamelodi was a war zone. A gang calling themselves Boko Haram was extorting every single spaza shop, taxi driver, and grandmother in the township. Then a ghost appeared, a man who didn't talk, didn't miss, and didn't care for the law. They called him the Pretoria John Wick. But as we stand here in 2026, the myth of the lone vigilante was crumbled, replaced by something much darker, a high-stakes war for the underworld's throne. So here's the backstory. My animation covers the peak of this cleansing, and we see figures falling, Boko Haram members gunned down in broad daylight. At the time, Mamelodi cheered. We wanted to believe in a hero. But look at the names that surfaced later. Vusi Cat Matlala, a man who wasn't just a businessman, but as of his high-profile 2025-2026 court dates, he's a man who's accused of capturing the police themselves. In early October 2021, a high-ranking Boko Haram enforcer is sitting in his car in Mamelodi when a gunman walks up and drops him execution style. Just days later, hit number 2 happens. Another known gang lieutenant is ambushed in his vehicle. The shooter unloads multiple rounds into him in a strictly professional job. Then came hit number 3. Another top-tier gang member gunned down in broad daylight, sending the remaining gangsters into a blind panic. What the was going on? The real kill shot though happened on Tuesday, October 26, 2021. The absolute kingpin of the gang, 35-year-old Philip Given Mnguni, known in the street as Nkunzi, is trying to flee the township. He's driving his vehicle down the N4 highway near the Diamond Hill Toll Plaza when shooters in a silver Mercedes-Benz pull up alongside him. Mnguni was instantly deleted, while miraculously leaving his partner that was sitting right next to him alive. Within the span of 3 months, from August to October 2021, at least 13 members of this untouchable gang were put to the ground. The impact was legendary. Mamelodi residents were literally throwing street parties and celebrating this mysterious vigilante. The media, the community, everyone gave him a name: John Wick. Let me pause here. At this point, you have a community of hundreds of thousands of people cheering on a mass murderer because he's doing a better job of protecting him than the actual government. So you ask yourself, who the hell has the money, the training, and the sheer audacity to go to war with a heavily armed syndicate? I'm here to tell you the answer was hiding in plain sight. Let's back up a bit. Do you like these stories? Would you like more? Well, I want to give you more. Right now, I'm the one writing, recording, and editing these videos, and I release them every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'd love to hire an extra editor so I can start releasing these videos daily. I have hundreds of stories that I'd like to tell, and I think these stories are worth hearing. So hit that join button below for just $20 a month. And just for hitting that join button, you get to see almost 3 videos a week before everyone else. I appreciate all of the love, and I think that we can grow from here on out. Back to the story. If you go back to 2018, Mamelodi wasn't just a township, it was a hostage situation. The local gang named themselves Boko Haram. They were hijacking construction sites, demanding protection fees, running extortion rackets. Look, if you built a house, you had to pay them. If you opened a spaza shop, you had to pay them. The police were completely useless. Boko Haram owned the streets and the cops. August 2021, a new player enters. He didn't file police reports. He only spoke in hollow points. For years, the police claimed that they had no idea who this vigilante was. The legend of the Mamelodi John Wick became a myth. Now, if you remember, I did a video not so long ago about DJ Sumbody, and I spoke about a specific moment then. This guy, he started speaking about one guy who's very important that I'm about to mention. A man called Vusi Matlala was arrested under heavy police guard. Who the hell is this guy? Now, the reason why he was arrested was because he was a high-risk suspect for a string of serious crimes, including orchestrating the 2023 attempted murder of his ex-girlfriend, Thobejane, whose vehicle was shot up near Santon. He's repeatedly denied bail. November 18, 2025, during the televised Madlanga Commission of Inquiry looking into the police corruption of South Africa, a crime intelligence agent named Brown Mkhotsi takes the stand. Under oath, he starts talking about the Mamelodi underworld and the assassination machinations of the Boko Haram gang, he pulls back the curtain on a secret that the streets have whispered about for years. He tells the commission that the man who orchestrated these hits, the man that the community is celebrating like a hero, and the man currently sitting in jail fighting for his life is all the same person. That person, Pretoria's John Wick, Vusimuzi, Cat Matlala. Now, the story of why Vusimuzi allegedly was going against the Boko Haram gang is actually a really crazy story, and I probably will cover it at some point. As of March 2026, Cat Matlala remains in custody after his bail was denied at the High Court. The Madlanga Commission has blown the lid off the case, revealing WhatsApp messages between Matlala and high-ranking Hawks officials. It turns out that the John Wick era might not have been about justice. It was just a business merger, one gang being cleared out to make way for the Big Five Cartel. Was it vigilantism or was it a hostile takeover? Speaking of the Big Five Cartel, while the public in Pretoria were looking at John Wick as the savior, the real players were looking at the city as a chessboard. And if you want to understand how deep the rot goes, you have to look at the night of November 20th, 2022. Because the same cleanup crews that were supposedly purging Mamelodi of gangs were now being spotted in the elite corners of Sandton. This time, the target wasn't a street thug. It was Opa Sefoka, the man you know as DJ Sumbody. DJ Sumbody just released one of the hottest songs in the country. He currently has the hottest club in Pretoria, Yep Yep. He wants to expand the brand to Cape Town, the mother city of dreams, but also the most glaring example of Cape Town's inequality. Some of the world's dangerous gangs are in Cape Town, one of them being the world famous Numbers Gang. Opening a club in Cape Town is almost impossible without being extorted at some point. Ralph Stanfield is the leader of the 28s gang in the streets. When somebody and his manager wanted to open a Yep Yep to avoid the trappings of extortion, they contacted the 28s gang and got to meet with the leader himself. After a few conversations, they finally came to an agreement, and a Yep Yep finally had a Cape Town branch. However, after seeing the success of Yep Yep, Ralph wanted more. He wanted more ownership in the club, more control, and he wanted the success for himself. So he started threatening Sumbody and his manager. On the 20th of November, Sumbody was on his way to the airport.
Breaking news, just in, music producer and Amapiano pioneer DJ Sumbody has died.
Let me pause here. At this point, I'm sure you're thinking it's obvious who did it. I'm here to tell you, you're wrong. Let's back up a bit. So Antlek, our story starts with this guy, Provincial Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. On the 6th of July, he dropped a bombshell telling us that criminals were in cahoots with top officials in the government, including the current National Police Commissioner at the time, Senzo Mchunu. One of the names mentioned during this press conference was Amant Swart. He was an engineer spanning in Vereniging. On the 17th of April 2024, as Amant was pulling his car into work, 3 masked men ran up to the car and started unloading their weapons in the car. Amand was deleted on the spot. The worst part of this whole attack was that it was a case of misidentity. An employee of the plant Amand worked at had blown the whistle about irregular prices for items that they were selling being inflated for a bigger profit margin. You might be asking right now, what the hell does this have to do with DJ Sumbody? Well, according to Commissioner Mkhwanazi, those shooters were caught. The bombshell revelation is that these guys were actually khatas. The Johns that they were using was actually steel that was stolen from the evidence locker at the police station. Now, before I reveal how the story is connected to Sumbody, I have to introduce one more character to the timeline. Katiso Molefe, leader of one of the most dangerous gangs in the country, the Big Five Cartel. The Big Five are a sophisticated syndicate with main headquarters being both in Johannesburg and in Mpumalanga. Their main criminal operations include corruption, tender fraud, murders, and most importantly, drug trafficking. Now in 2021, a large shipment of drugs worth millions was stopped and confiscated at the Durban harbor. The crazy part of the story is that not even a few months later, somehow the same consignment of drugs was somehow stolen from the police custody months later. The whole operation was attributed to the Big Five Cartel. Over many months, the cartel, which included Katiso, were trying to sell these drugs and move them as quickly as possible. This got members of the cartel to meet with many people in order to make proper introductions. One of those introductions was DJ Sumbody. Because of the Yip Yip Club, which attracted many people from many walks of life, from the famous to the infamously rich, he was asking to help facilitate a meeting between a member of the cartel and a potential buyer. This actually was typical, and a few celebrities had been approached, including Pro Kid's younger brother, DJ City Lights. However, it seemed as if the police were hot on the tails of the sale of these drugs. At some point, they realized they had to be a snitch. Now, knowing who the informant could be, they started putting hits on everyone they had approached regarding these deals. They would hire khatas who would work as police officials by the day and moonlight as assassins by night. One of these assassins would use a gun stolen from the evidence locker at the police station, the same one that they used at the murder of Amanatwat. On the 20th of November 2022, one of those hits would turn out to be on DJ Sumbody. Now, that's how John Wick, Cat Matlala, and the whole squad of the Big Five syndicate are connected. This is the loose version of the story, and there's way more out there. I will say though, I love my life, so I'll wait until that information is public before I tell it to you guys. In the wise words of 50 Cent, street shit should stay in the streets, so keep it on the low. But everybody who's somebody you already know. Now, it's time for me to explain. I've been listening to the few of you that are still here on GrimmTV and watching. I appreciate all of you. I see you, Mr. Scary Stories. From now on, I'm going to have the YouTube videos as compilations, partly full screen, partly vertical. Rappers, I've already received some submissions for Cypher Sundays and I'm excited already. We got really talented people. I even have a venue now. It's in Bramfontein. So if you want to come freestyle and have fun, follow me on Instagram @_Ugrim and DM your music content. We're about to start a movement. Everyone else, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.